Today, I just want to talk to you about emotional eating. I know it's a big concern for many of us. We have friends or we have family that we know deal with emotional eating, and so I just want to spend a few minutes today, seeing if we can find out what's going on and give you some alternatives to help you through that emotional eating. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. And excuse me for having to put on my reading glasses every once in a while, just to make sure I'm staying on track and keeping mindful of our time today. I've been helping women revolutionize their health for 12 years now, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Before that, I taught special ed for 20 years, and at one point in my life was an emotional eater. I picked up my first weight in 2007 at the age of 44. And in 2 years, I got my pro natural bodybuilding card. I did one pro show and I walked off the stage and I said, I have to give women this ability to feel good about themselves, to have control of their eating. And this is from somebody that is a self-confirmed chocoholic. My parents swear that the first words out of my mouth as I was sitting there babbling in a high chair was chocolate. And so there began my love. So without further ado, let's talk about some of those triggers and what might be going on that could possibly be helping you to overindulge in some food. Have any of you ever said anything like, well, I ate the candy bar, I might as well eat this ice cream and cake as too, right? I was doing so well until the afternoon. And then that sugar craving hit, and I just had to eat all that peanut butter. So I might as well just eat everything for dinner. What about, oh, hope Aunt Marge isn't making that kryptonite, ooey gooey, double fudge brownie, gooey delight, because I just can't say no to that. Have you ever said, I am so tired of overeating? My stomach hurts. I've got to stop overeating. I feel like I spend half the day thinking about food and the other half of the day eating it. Are there any other sentences or thoughts that come to mind when you hear those words? I know I probably said one or all of those at some point in my life. So let's go over some of those triggers. First off is stress. In our world today, we are constantly bombarded with things that bring stress into our life. Our family, our work from home, the TV, the phone, and all of that brings about the stress hormone, cortisol. We've all heard about cortisol. Well, when cortisol is dumped into the body, it's telling our body that we need to give it quick energy because something out there is making us like this. And cortisol makes us crave fried, salty, and sweet foods. Notice now, one of those sounded like broccoli. So it's important to keep our stress level to a minimum, to keep our cortisol at a minimum, because cortisol is that big trigger for those sugary, high calorie dense food. Another one, which was one of my biggest ones, was burying your emotions. And those could be anything from sadness to shame to anxiety to loneliness. So you eat to bury the feeling that we don't want to feel. And so that works for the moment, but the reason that we're still eating is still there. So when you're done eating and you've overeaten and now you feel bad because you've overeaten, that feeling that you want to avoid is still there. And so we need to find out what that feeling is, and what we can do to release that in a positive way and still deal with all of our feelings, even the ones that aren't so much fun. Another one is boredom, feelings of just being bored to death and having no purpose. I know I've heard a lot of that with clients over the last couple of years. They get bored just being at home. And so you do something. So we're going to talk about alternatives to being bored and feeling like you don't have a purpose, and that your mouth should be the place to fill that void, because it's absolutely not. Another trigger is childhood habits. Childhood trauma would go under some of the other things, but childhood habits. So for instance, let's say you brought home a good grade card. Did you get treated to special ice cream? Not that that's bad, but was it every time you did something? What about when you won a game, or you did well at something? Was food always the reward? There's also those happy memories. If you had happy memories of your dad grilling in the backyard, and those hamburgers and all the stuff that goes with it, or baking cookies with your mom and eating those warm cookies right out of the oven, that brings about nostalgia and good feeling. And we can enjoy that, but we tend to overindulge in that. So we're gonna work on alternatives to that. And then, of course, there's our social influence. We are now starting to go out again, and it's very easy to be with a group of people, and you have plates of food, and you have a drink in front of you, and you're talking, and you're having a good time, and you just keep eating because it's easy to do. So being able to have control over your environment and your food when you're in those social outings is something we're going to talk about today. All right. So did you find yourself in one or more of those situations? Again, I was an emotional eater to bury shame. And I did not want to become, I wanted to hide myself from boys because of my grandfather crossing my boundaries. And so I knew that boys didn't like fat girls. So I subconsciously started eating and gained a lot of weight. And so that was my emotional eating. So one of the best ways that I deal with my clients and their emotional eating is through a food journal. Now, I know, I would go, yes, I know a food journal. Number one, it is the number one way to really hone in on the patterns that are happening, because when you're writing it down, you're putting feelings down with it, and you're putting a feeling with that sentence. For me as a coach, I'm looking at that sentence and going, okay, this is interesting. This is a fact that's very important, and I need to know this. So what we need to do is deal with these as facts and not feelings. But we do have an emotional part to the journal. So at the time that you overeat, or at the time that you have a craving, write it down. What happened? What made you feel that way? What did you eat? How did you feel when you were eating it? How did you feel when you were done eating it? And let's find what those triggers are, because again, we want facts. These are going to lead us to the next path, and that's how we make the program right for you. So emotionally, and an emotional and food journal, not just a food journal. So that's, with that being said, let's talk about some alternatives that we can use to help us break this emotional cycle, this eating cycle, and get us moving towards the direction we want. Okay, so the first thing is, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling lonely, I want you right now, I want you to stop this, and I want you to write down a list of people you can call, okay, or you can reach out to. That it could include Facebook groups that you belong to. I need you to have that list with you at all times, because a craving can come on at any time, and it can hit you in the side, and you're like, I need to talk to somebody. So keep that list with you. Again, pause for just a minute. Write down the list of names that you can call, and they always help you feel better. Or pet your dog or your cat, or talk to your goldfish. If you are anxious and you're nervous, you have a nervous energy, and you think that by eating that's going to help you, I want you to take a walk outside. I want you to get a stress ball. Have you seen those stress balls that you can squeeze? Get a stress ball. Foam roll. That's a really good way to get out a lot of energy and do well for yourself. Um, put on some music and dance. Do your dance. Dance like nobody's watching. Do something physical if you are nervous, if you are anxious about something, if you're exhausted. Treat yourself with a wonderful hot tea with some honey in it, scented candles, long warm shower or a long hot bath with Epsom salt in it. And keep a warm blanket, keep a tray of these things, your lavender oil, your Epsom salt, a candle, tea. Keep this on a tray close to you at all times. That way you can reach for that instead of food. If you are feeling like you have a craving coming on, I want you to take 5 minutes. Take a big inhale, big exhale. Do it again. Connect your mind and your stomach. Figure out what's going on. Is this a trigger? Are you hungry? Drink some water. Take 5 minutes. Set your timer. Take 5 minutes. Push through this and see in 5 minutes where you are. Because generally, if you can hold out for 5 minutes, you can pass through the craving and move on without it taking you down. Uh, find, let's see. Indulge without overeating. So let's say that you have some great food in front of you. Stop between bites. Enjoy the food. One way that I'm able to enjoy travel is because when I go to places, I eat the local food and it's incredible. So I slow down so that I can savor each bite and enjoy the flavors of this place. Be present, put your phone down. That tends to keep you from knowing what you're eating, and you want to enjoy the texture. So slow down, indulge in your food, but eat slowly, and then you won't overeat. Find ways to feed your feelings without food. So if you have a hobby, if you like to do crafts, that's one way to keep your hands busy. If you, I used to do stitching, cross stitch. And I know there's so many other things, hobbies out there, especially the do it yourself, DIY. Get a project. If you like to redo furniture, find furniture and figure out ways to redo that. I see the women that take these vintage clothes and take them and tear them apart and make new ones out of them. Find alternatives to do with your hands other than eating. Practice mindful eating so that your TV is off, your phone is turned over, unless you are doing a Zoom with somebody else and you're having dinner together, but that's it. Make sure that you are focused on each bite, that you take moments in between and you put your fork down or your spoon down in between bites so that you can stay focused on how you're feeling, and make sure that you stop eating before you're full. Because if you eat till you're full, then you've overeaten. So stop before you're full. Practice that mindful eating. Sleep and rest. It's a big thing, right? If you are exhausted, the first thing our body wants to do is eat because it's looking for that kick to keep going. So getting that, I know 8 hours, and I struggle. I struggle to get 7. But let me tell you how important it is, because there was a time very recently that I was just getting 4 hours of sleep a night, and you just can't sustain that. So being purposeful about setting a bedtime reminder, going to bed at the same time, calcium and magnesium, and bedtime teas to help you relax, turning off the TV 30 minutes before bed, reading before bed, doing something that relaxes you. I personally have a meditation app that I listen to, and I would love to share that with you and find out if there's ways that I can work with you, find out what's going on in your emotional eating. I have several programs that I work with women. I work with women over 40. And as you listen to this webinar, I would like to offer my free Empowered and Fit call and find out about your fitness journey, your wellness journey, and see if it's putting you on the right path to where you want to go. And if not, see if there's any holes that need to be filled, and explain how that can work and what that looks like. So, as a gift to you for staying with me, I'd like to offer you that free Empowered and Fit call. So all you've got to do when you watch this video is just email me back with yes, I'm ready. I am so ready. I'm tired of being sick and tired, and I'm tired of feeling like this, and I want energy, and I want confidence to wear whatever I want, and I want to have food freedom. I want to be able to eat daily without shoulding all over myself. I should have done this, that I know what to eat, that it's a lifestyle and it makes me happy. And I want to show that to you. I know what it's like to be on both sides, and that food freedom is seriously freeing. The amount of time I used to think about food and fixing it and eating it, and did I eat too much, and I don't have that anymore. When I'm hungry, I eat and then I'm done, and then when I get hungry again, I eat and I'm done, and I have the freedom to choose what I want, but I know what my body needs, and I would love to share that with you. So please, if you're seeing this and you want to learn more about food freedom, just write me back, email me back, hit me up in a comment. Yes, I need food freedom in my life. Give me a call. I'd love for us to sit and talk. So thanks for being here with me today.